This is an interview with the legend Paul Tait, back end of 2013. We do apologise for the poor sound quality at the beginning of the interview. Please enjoy.
Boys and girls, the one and only legend himself, Mr. Paul Tait!
Who are you? Who are you?
Hello everyone.
Tatey Ravon. I bet you remember that, don't you?
Yeah,
just a bit. You still get reminded of it now?
Yeah, I got it on Saturday when I was doing the commentary on the game up at Blackpool, and we were in amongst all the supporters, and the fans started singing. That's a bit embarrassing.
Do you like it?
Well, it's a bit embarrassing. There's a story behind it. Like when I was younger, so it's a bit.
Well, let's have the story.
That's
what we're all about tonight. That's what we're all about.
Everyone asked me why. Even my son before I come out tonight said, "Dad, why do they say Tatey Ravon?" I said, "Well, son, I was a bit of a lad when
Bit of a raver
when I was in my late teens and that. I used to go to all the raves all over the country and that, and the fans picked up on that. Used to see me at the rave. Player profile that we did in the programmes, as you do to this day, as players do. But for one particular game, we were on the coach going somewhere, and you have your card schools where all the players are doing their card schools, and us younger ones, we went into cards and things like that. So we got hold of pieces of paper with all the players' profiles on, and we decided to fill them in for the rest of the squad without them knowing. And someone got hold of one for me and Ravon, and I didn't know about that. And they handed it into the club, and rather than the club look at all the player profiles and think there's something amiss here, they only printed them word for word of everything that was what was written down. So it was a bit embarrassing because I didn't know what was going to be said, but next thing you know, the fans have clocked onto it, and it's stuck ever since.
It don't take us long, does it? Clock onto something like that.
No, but it's blues as in blues. The admin those days, I thought they were just binned all the pieces of paper because we wrote some really stupid things on the forms and that, but they actually printed everything, which is a bit bizarre.
It's RBRadio.com.
I didn't live in Sutton. I lived on Castle Vale.
Oh right, okay.
On the roughest,
you just used to visit Sutton, did you?
No, it was one of the roughest housing estates in Britain, I think, at the time. I lived in the 10th floor of a high-rise block called Kemble Tower, and I stayed there for the first 5 years. My nan was one of the first families on the Vale. And I stayed living there first 5 years, and moved to where did we move to? Then moved to Yardley, and I went to school up not far from the Blues Ground in High Mills,
right?
Red Hill School. Which I don't know if the pub's still there, the Red Hill Tavern on the Cove Road. I'm not sure.
It's closed down.
Closed down.
Only recently.
There's so many closed down.
I used to go to school just behind there, and then I was in Yardley, South Yardley. Then I moved to Stetchford with the Man-Ray's pub just behind there. So everyone I'm talking about is just behind pubs. So I went to school just behind the pub, lived just behind the pub. But then my dad was a Glaswegian, my father, and he used to take me up to Rangers. He's a big Rangers family. I come from in Glasgow, and my dad's brother Alec, he was a Rangers Villa fan, and he used to have a box at the Villa at Trinity Road, and he used to take me down there. It was when I was 6, 7, 8, right, something like that. And then,
so you used to get forced to go there?
I didn't. I'll tell you the truth now. I was going to watch Rangers play as much as I could because I used to love going to Scotland. And then my family obviously used to take me down to watch the Villa play in the boxes. And then it wasn't until I was about 9 where my dad's friends on the Vale. There was a few Blues fans, mainly predominantly Villa area. You see, Castle Vale was at the time, but the Birmingham supporters on there, they'd started to take me down to the Blues games, and it was always, I used to get a lot more of a buzz down. It was always a lot rougher at the Blues Ground. I don't know what it was. It was just different.
Welcome.
It was just different, and I think with my mentality at the time, living on.
So this would have been in the old stadium.
Oh yeah, so this was in the 70s, late 70s.
Yeah,
I think my first game I went to, I don't know if it was 79. I'm not sure. Down the Blues. I remember it was against Man United, and it was.
Was that when we beat them 5-1?
I don't know. I can't. It was all I remember was getting out there alive, and I was only a young kid, and it was a hell of a lot of trouble. That's all I remember from that day. And bearing in mind, my parents let me go with lads from the estate.
Right.
Why they did that, I don't know. And let me get on the bus, and God knows what. It was quite daunting. But from that
it was
day,
a very daunting place, though, wasn't it, back then? It was
I mean, you could do anything.
Place.
I mean, the police didn't have a clue in those days like they have today, and you could get away with literally anything. It was a very dangerous place. The old skinhead, type gangs and that were all about then. It was very, very dangerous. But that's when I started. It was, and then obviously when I started training at Blues when I was 11, I think. I started training at the Blues, and I actually signed my first little contract when I was 12.
Still got it?
No.
Oh.
It was all put in the draw. You're not supposed to sign till you're 14, but I made a commitment to the club at 12, and I said, yeah, I'll sign, yeah, not a problem. They looked after me brilliant. And times then were very, very hard.
So who was the gaffer back then?
When I first saw him was Ron Saunders. He was the actual manager of the club, but obviously my youth team manager was a guy called, the guy who brought me to the club was Norman Bedell. It was, the times are very, very difficult then. Like the young lads now think this is bad. Birmingham supporters, you think this is bad. What we're going through is absolutely nothing compared to what we're going through in the early 80s, mid 80s, late 80s, when the club we had 4,000 fans there, 5,000 fans in a ground that held 46, was it 45,000? I think it held then, St Andrews.
The old St Andrews. I mean, I think the most I ever saw in there was 50 something.
Well, I've been on there against Watford, Nottingham Forest when there's been 43, and Villa 43,000 I think against the Villa.
And we're talking noisy back in the day as well.
It was amazing. But the thing is, and then obviously when I signed for the club, and I turned into an apprentice then I had to run out in front of crowds of 4,000 or 5,000, and then we had to, the next day on the Sundays, we had to go and sweep the terraces as well. So you can imagine trying to sweep those terraces, those horrible terraces.
Those terraces.
Have you?
Yeah.
Not as good as me.
Because I did it for Ron Saunders. Do you remember when Ron Saunders? He was calling for volunteers to come and clean the ground up, and you get a free ticket if you went, and there was loads of people turned up. No one did any work at all.
Yeah.
Well, there was tough times. Yeah. I mean, we as a kid coming through the ranks, it was awful. We were working 6 days a week from 8 till 5 for £28.50 a week. And I tell you, I used to work with my dad on a Sunday as a roofer. He was a roofer, my dad, and just to get some money. It was really, really tough. For £28.50, he was on the YTS scheme. It was nothing. We got a bus pass out of it, but it was really, really difficult. And obviously making my debut at such a young age as well.
How old were you when you made your
16.
debut? 16 when you made your debut. Who was that against?
Leeds.
Right.
Leeds United.
So what did it feel like, a 16-year-old Paul Tait sat in the dressing room with all the professional footballers around you, and it's Birmingham are you a Birmingham City supporter yourself?
Yeah, I was. I mean, I was running around on the streets, on the terraces with all the loons, shall we say, before that.
Probably bumped into you once or twice.
Yeah, you probably have, yeah. So to go from being a supporter growing up in Stetchford and the big,
Do you think that very first day, you're 16 years old and you've got the badge on, and it's the McCoy, like the real shirt. It's not the shirts that we're wearing out.
Well, I can't describe how daunting it is, because 9 months previous, you were playing on the streets with your mates, and then all of a sudden you're pitched into a football club. You don't expect to be playing for a first team within that short, space of time. It's really, really daunting. I wasn't ready for it, but the predicament we were in as a club, we had no money, form was out the window, players were, weren't the best to learn off.
Was this the Kumar time, or?
No, it was Ken Weldon.
It
was before that. This was bad. You forget about these times where I'm talking about were 100 times worse than what the club are going through at the minute. It was absolutely shocking. When you're walking out of rooms, you have to turn off the lights, and it was bad. It was really, really bad. But as I said, playing for the club at such a young age, I wasn't ready for it. But it's not a lot you can say. You can't say, "Look, I'm not ready." I've just left school.
Your boots are on.
Your boots are on, and you've got to get out there, and you're battling against big men.
So
really.
You started the game?
I come on as a sub for the last half an hour.
Right.
Got man of the match. So that's how bad we were.
that moment where the gaffer says to you, "You're on."
It was petrifying. Yeah, I was absolutely bricking it. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Absolutely, it was on a Friday night against Leeds. David Batty, the Peter Swan. They had some good players. Leeds, it was tough. It was tough. But I hit the post with a shot I bottled it when 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and he saved it. But I did bottle it. I admit that. But I got man of the match. Obviously, I think
that's not bad for half an hour's work, is it? Man of the match.
No. I think that's how bad we were at the time. So it was so daunting. It was fantastic in one sense that you make your debut so young, and you're playing for the first team, which is what was my main aim to do. But I didn't think physically I was ready for it. You know, I weighed 9.5 stone, something like that. I was
where's all the hair gone, by the way?
My hair, I had to get it cut for safety reasons because I was getting attacked all the time by Villa fans. So I thought, better cut it. I've still got a nice head of hair anyway.
It's not bad, is it?
It's a good head of hair for my age. You
So
know.
it's far better than...
I'm 42, but I look good, don't I?
It's far better than Rooney's, anyway.
I know, yeah. I'll be there soon. I'll be borrowing some money, I think, for the transplant in Sweden. No, but Tait, I say, like, it was a fantastic experience playing for your hometown club, and obviously after the game, and like you're back with all your mates and everything. It was good times. Good times in that sense.
All the way back then, and all those times when we had 4,000 turn up, and you think it was a big crowd, and you'd be looking up towards the old tea stand on the top of where the toilets were at the top of the Tilton corner, right? Oh, they're streaming in, 4,000.
It was. We knew the crowds were absolutely shocking. You know, they really were poor, but it's not a lot you could do about it. It was all I cared about was watching all the crisp packets and the pies and everything going flying everywhere, thinking I've got to go and clean them up.
Well, every time you heard that air horn going off, it was me with him on my shoulders.
Well, the abuse in those days was, you could hear everything. Obviously, there was that many in the ground. Every person had screamed abuse at you.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, we did get a lot of it because we were pretty poor. You actually knew who the person was, but he was standing on his own somewhere. And you could have half of them were my mates at the time. So, tough times. Really.
Worst
really
game
tough.
Paul Tait ever played in?
Sorry?
Worst game you ever played in?
Worst game?
Yeah.
What, as in performance? Or as
just the general sort
for Blues, oh dear, probably one of the hammerings we got somewhere when we were really shocking, like Watford away, we got beat 5, I think.
You've got a few to choose from.
I could be here all day now. You've taken me off now, you've got me going. Where else was there? Some of the lower league clubs. I think we went to Wigan.
I was there.
Wigan the one year, and it was the old Springfield Road.
Yeah, the old just walk all the way round.
You was there as well, Chris.
I think I might have scored. I don't know. I'm not sure. Did we draw 1-1 or
1-1? So what? Right, I've got a badge at home which says
Birmingham.
But that was to go up. We needed to win that one to go up as champions.
No.
Right?
No, that was Huddersfield, wasn't it?
No, it was Wigan, and I've got a badge at home which says Birmingham City champions for whatever 19, whenever it was, and we didn't actually make it. We only drew 1-1.
Right.
But I've got a little metal badge.
Well, I've played.
That said we were champions and we weren't. There you
I played there another time when the only entertainment our supporters got. I mean, the Wigan at their away end was all a slope of grass. That's all.
We were sliding down.
And everyone was just sliding down. It all came in the rain to get the entertainment. There's been many games when I can think, oh dear, what happened there? But loads, even at St Andrews. I got sent off against the Villa.
No.
At Villa Park. And it was 0-0 at the time, and we were a better team, and I think we would have. We would have gone on to win the game that night with the team that we had out. We had didn't have the greatest team out, but we were played them, and they went on to win the cup. Yep. I got sent off, and they scored about 10 minutes later, Dean Saunders, and they went on to win the cup. And they had a very good team that day. But that's another one where I really rue that game.
Oh.
There's so many like.
Should I ask you what your best game is though?
Best game?
Yeah.
Dear. That game was all played alright. That game, I was playing fantastically well. That game.
Where does the Wembley final sit in?
The Wembley game. It was. It's hard. People say you should say, but when you're at Wembley, it's not. When you're there, it's just like another game. Like you just see loads of fans. You're looking out for your mates, and it's a difficult situation when you're at Wembley. Like it's a one-off, and you don't savour it because you want to win the game anyway. But then I remember 3 days later we had a massive game against Brentford, who were us two going for promotion, had to get out of the league, and for our priority was to get out of the league, get back into the Championship, into League One, and so a lot of our focus was on that game, and that's I think we played so poorly against Carlisle.
Still come away with a win then?
Yeah, we come away with a win, but our focus as a team, I think a lot of the players were more focused on getting a result against Brentford, which we did 3 days later. We had near enough a full house at St Andrews. We went on to win 2-0, and that was a fantastic atmosphere.
Full house at St Andrews is just
near
amazing.
enough. It's 26,000, something like that. But
when St Andrews is rocking, it's the right place to be.
Yeah, it's a fantastic atmosphere. I've played down there, many a game, and it's been brilliant. I just wish to God we'd get that back. They're not too.
We've got a chap here, Blue. I was saying, no matter how bad the crowds were, BCFC fans always stick together, especially for the away days.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've just mentioned that previously, haven't I, about the away games now. But I remember when I played back in the 80s, we always had a really, really good following. But one thing we have got at St Andrews is a lot of characters in our support.
Without a doubt.
I've grown up with them. I sort of drink on Chelmsford Wood quite a lot and toll cross those areas, and after the games with all the lads all around the city centre and that.
We used to sit on the Cop Corner, there'd be a guy behind us who had a pretend trumpet. And he'd just be playing it all through the games. Remember him?
There's loads of loons down the blues.
And everybody would be going. And he'd be playing this.
There was some loons.
It's lovely. I love it.
That's the thing about supporting Birmingham. You're all, it's the supporters are make your own fun. The supporters are crackers, and a lot of characters down there. And there always has been.
SRBRadio.com.
Best player in the past
that I've played with?
Go on then.
For a Birmingham shirt, it would have to be Mark Ward.
Mark Ward, really?
Central midfielder, he helped me so much. He was a fantastic player. To learn off him, he was some player. Played for Everton, Man City, West Ham. We should have got England cap, but he was a good player.
Because I actually saw the highlights of the game against Carlisle, and I seem to remember your goal was scored by you giving the ball away at first, and then Mark Ward.
Yeah, I think I fell over. I think I fell over. Trying to play 1-2 and just fell over. If I'm honest with you, Mark Ward, he was a fantastic player. He's very experienced, and just to sit in there midfield, a great passer of the ball. He was fantastic. He was a hell of a player, and I'm still in touch with him to this day.
Good,
really good player.
You know what's coming next, then, don't you?
Go on then.
Worst player you played with?
Worst player
you played with?
How long we got? I can't really say that.
You can whisper it.
I won't get beat up by him.
You're right. You've had your haircut. Nobody recognise you.
Probably one of the worst players. Dear oh dear. I'd have to be Carl Richards.
Right.
I don't know if you know Carl Richards.
No.
Well, Carl Richards was a big black centre forward who used to play for Bournemouth, and at the time we played Bournemouth that season. Gary Pendry was the manager, and we bought him. We had no money, but the money we did have, we bought him from Bournemouth for 80 grand, I think. But up until that day, he was the only forward that hadn't scored against us up until that that season, and we bought him. Right, which is a bit of a mad one, but he was just crackers. I remember training with him on the pitch and that. All he used to talk about was prison and things like that. And when I was on B wing and all, he was just crackers. And then when we was playing Oldham, I think we were playing Oldham at St Andrews the one game, and I passed him the ball to get the 1-2 back, and he actually stood on the ball, and his feet were that big. He flattened the ball. He was that big and clumsy, and I've looked at him. I thought I can't play with him. But he was pretty bad. He was bad.
Well, we had a bit of a straw poll in here the other week, and our worst Birmingham player ever, I think Ricky Otto got the vote, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Ricky, did he really?
Yeah, Gippo.
I'm surprised.
He was our own player, Gippo.
He was. I mean, against us for Southend, he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
He used to tear us apart. But then when he come to Blues, for £800,000, it was a hell of a lot of money. It didn't work out for him. I mean, it just didn't work out. It's one of the moves for him. He used to beat a man, and his cross would go into Rose. It just didn't work out for him. In some games he was very, very good, but you can't deny. I wouldn't say he was the worst player I've played. He's definitely not.
No, it's just we just had a bit of a straw.
It's
only a bit of fun, right? We just had a bit of a poll, and I think us old schoolers came up with
you say that about the
Ricky's name,
about the £800,000, and how we longed for days when we could actually buy players.
We bought a few. We bought Kevin Francis.
I think 80,000. Crikey.
Yeah,
be nice to get
obviously now these days we've got nothing. No. It's scary times, isn't it?
It is. Nice. It's very scary times. We might come up to that after the second half and see a few opinions about that one. All right. What's the worst football ground you've ever played at?
Worst football ground I've ever played at would have to be somewhere like Springfield Park, Wigan, Bristol Rovers when they had to move to Bath's ground. That was awful. Yes. Macclesfield, the old Macclesfield.
Macclesfield. I went to that one. Was it Chesterfield? Wasn't it? Macclesfield. They're all climbing over the roofs to get in.
Yeah, it was.
You probably wouldn't see that. You'd still been in the dressing room.
There was a lot. Halifax. That before it got done, that was bad.
Oxford was pretty dire.
The Old Manor. It was a nice pitch though.
Was it?
Pitch. I know it was on a slope,
but
it was a nice surface to play on. And you got to look at the surface as well. I played for Oxford, don't you? I'm not slagging Oxford off.
We don't look at this. My funny moments was at Oxford football ground, and we'd played there, and one of our supporters decided to scale the floodlights, and he was 3/4 of the way up, and all the supporters are just pointing at him, singing "The Blues are going up."
Yeah, I remember. What was the score of that game? Was it when we won 3-0? Was it?
Yeah,
when we got promoted that year.
Yeah, absolutely jam-packed in that end. It was just after the. No, it wasn't. No, the Macclesfield game was. I think it was just after the.
Yeah.
Liverpool Forest incident.
Oh right, yeah.
It was a bit scary in some of them small. And I remember driving up there, and we pulled into a field opposite the football ground.
Yeah, I know,
One burly police lady, bless her, country bumpkin, no disrespect to her whatsoever. Hiya lads, intelligence says there's about 300 of you coming to us. We've just passed about 6,000 on the M6. Thought you better get another field open.
Yeah, there was a lot of Birmingham supporters there that day. I remember that day. With great fondness, but it was a good day. I think I don't know if we won 3-0 that day. I'm not sure, but it was a good day. But I'd say that the grounds in those days weren't not like they are today. There was all standing and a little bit of seating, and it was a lot rougher. Back in the late 80s.
I preferred it, to be honest with you.
Well, I'd give anything. There's nothing worse than sitting down.
It would be three. It'd be on my shoulders in the cop.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than sitting down.
Not in the cop, but at the back of the cop, giving it large.
Yeah, I hope they do reintroduce standing. I can't see it myself.
Safe standing, they call it there now.
Who's going to stand there? I can't see it myself. I just can't see it. If it'll happen, it will catch on. Safe standing area. They do it in Germany. I think Dortmund and all that do it, don't they? And they've got massive crowds. I think we're the best supported club in Europe at the moment.
But then they know to look after the supporters, though, don't they?
Of course, we ticket prices for one. Ticket prices and things like that.
That end looks fantastic, doesn't it?
The Cop in Dortmund, yeah, it is. I went to the Champions League final. Watched Munich, Dortmund this year, and the atmosphere was unbelievable. The best I've witnessed, and I've been to all the old firm games as well. Absolutely loads of them. And the atmosphere there was second to none. Both sets of supporters were brilliant.
So what about local derbies then? Like, you got your Rangers Celtic. How would you rate the Blues B6 one in terms of hostility?
Yeah, it's bad. It's very bad. Yeah, now. Yeah, it's years ago it was bad, but not as hostile now. It's a lot more bitterness there now. But the younger generation coming through. It was always us towards them. Obviously, they win the European Cup, they won this, always rubbing our noses in it. But now, ever since we got back into the Premiership, we've won something. A good few seasons.
Don't give them credit. They have won a catering award.
They have, yeah. They're very good.
They won a catering award.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that's all right.
But their supporters, their younger supporters. We've got a lot of hostility, shall we say, towards us.
Do you think that's anything to do with social networks as well?
Yeah, of course. Social networking.
Because when we were kids, the only time we saw a Villa fan was if we were in city centre. Yeah, one had accidentally got a scarf on and strayed into her.
You've got all your pages, haven't you? Dedicated to banter, haven't you? Your derby banter and things like that. But the hostility is bad. But very, very bad between Blues and Villa. And
would you say that the Celtic Rangers? Now they're not playing against each other at the minute, but you say the Blues Villa is right up there.
The Celtic and Rangers.
Yeah.
No.
No. So Celtic and Rangers.
Celtic and Rangers. It's religion.
Is that the one?
Is it? It's religion. It's a totally different kettle of fish, isn't it? It's not it's not just football. It's a way of life. You can go home from a Rangers Celtic game and you could bump your neighbour and you could be dead. It's happened in the last few years. I think there's been about 9 murders in the last 10 years up there after games. And
murders.
Take investigating them. So the animosity up there is you've really got to be careful. Don't wear your colours when you go to the games. You've got to be really, really careful up there. When you go to the Old Firm games. Whenever time I've been up there, I never wear any colours and always in the back of your head, shall we say? But the Blues Villa games, it's I think all local derbies.
What about when you're on the pitch? The atmosphere that's created at St Andrews, against
Villa.
Yeah.
It's horrible,
especially when it was standing.
Yeah, it's a nasty atmosphere, isn't it? It's not a good atmosphere. You can sense the poison in the crowd. It's bad.
I think you've summed it up in that word, haven't you? Poison.
Yeah, it's poisonous. Yeah. But as a player, I used to like things like that. It's I thrive on that atmosphere. For me, I used to love going to play in places like Millwall and that. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Is it true you were a bit of a naughty boy?
Yeah.
Is it true? What, sorry, Chris?
I said, is it true you were a bit of a naughty boy?
Yeah. We all know that.
Yeah. So to me, it was a lot of players used to I've played with players when we have gone to Millwall and have absolutely bricked it. absolutely bricked it. You could tell even when getting on the coach, getting to Millwall, because we used to always get attacked, you see, by their supporters, bricked and everything. And I used to love that, because it used to get me going. But a lot of the other players used to be on the floor, cowering. And I thought, well, I wouldn't want you in the trenches with me. Do you know what I mean? No chance. I was like, me and a lot of the other players who were more streetwise, shall we say, we got us going, got me going anyway.
A fighter, not a lover.
Absolutely, yeah. So that was me. I thrived on things like that.
SRBRadio.com.
I was heavily involved in certain things at the time. You know, substance abuse, and the club. I went to the club and said, "Listen, I need your help, because I think I'm going to die. I really think I'm going to." The people I'm mixing with were extremely dodgy, shall we say?
And how good were the club?
They're brilliant. Yeah, Karen Brady saved my life. I reckon if it wasn't for her, I don't reckon I'd be here today, because I'd either been banged up, shot, or I'd topped myself. And she took me under her wing, and she got me in the clinic. And you know, I had to go twice a week as an outpatient, and it really helped me. It was a really difficult time. You know, I remember being in my bedroom for 2 days, not coming out, just going absolutely off my rocker, smashing it up, and sitting there, just didn't have a clue what day it was. You know, and it wasn't like, you know, the thing about the supporters, what they say now, but players got that much money, you know, you want to be down the pit, and if all you want to be like earning, not putting bread on the table for your kids. But it didn't matter how much money you earn. You don't think about that when you've got mental health issues. It doesn't come into the equation. I didn't earn any money out the game anyway. You know, I wasn't on like the players that were earning. I was on £28.50 when I started. So like, it didn't come into the equation, those type of things, money and that. It was just the social circles that I got mixed up in were, because I come from inner city Birmingham, you know, and I grew up with these lads. It was hard to get away. And you know what? I didn't. At that time, the mum and dad split up, and I latched on to certain groups, shall we say, as they will become part of your family. You know, because you haven't got anyone else there, and it was quite difficult, if I'm honest with you, for years. And to this day, I'm still in counselling. To this day, I'm still, you know, it was only a few months ago I stopped going again, but I'll start up again, because I'll no doubt I'll have a relapse, and it's just trying to manage it. You see, it's really, really difficult. My wife, I'm quite fortunate. My wife's an integrative psychotherapist, and you know, she's quite good. I'm her best patient. You know, so it's been really, really difficult, if I'm honest with you. Really, really hard to. You know, I've got myself into some ridiculously stupid situations over the years.
But like you say, you've got kids now, and
I've got kids now, and my main priority is making sure they don't fall into the same trap as me, and being there for them. You know, so they haven't got to fall into the gang culture which I fell into, and looking out for other people. You know, as long as my wife and I are there for them, there's no reason for them to do that. And I know they won't do that anyway, because I know exactly what they're doing and where they're going. Whereas my parents had a bit more of a freer range, shall we say? You know what I mean? And once you give your kids that, I think that's when you struggle.
Okay, obviously you do a lot of pranking and messing around in between games, and perhaps even on match day.
Yeah.
What was one of the daftest things you got up to?
Daftest things?
Yeah.
As in
practical jokes on others. And
practical
stuff like
jokes
that.
on others.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Someone did a practical joke on me. The worst one ever.
That one then.
The worst one ever. I left Blues and joined Oxford. Right. Didn't want to, but I had to. Because I fell out with Trevor Francis and that, and as if I stayed, I would have killed him. You know what I mean? I was getting to that, you know, Mick Mills, I just didn't like him. And then I went to Oxford, and they had this guy there called Terry, who used to play pranks on the England team and things like that. So we were in training. I'd only been there 2 or 3 days, and we were in the training field, and this old guy come walking across, big old lump, come walking across the fields, drunk, with a bottle in his hand, swearing and everything. I just thought, stay out of his way, you know. So he pulled out this big cosh out of his jacket, and I think, what's he doing? So he starts waving it, and everyone's backing off and everything. He's got a bag. So I'm just moving away with the rest of the players. Next thing you know, he's dropped the cosh, pulled out his bag, pulled out a gun. So I've gone, everyone's gone, he's got a gun, run. So I'm thinking, oh my dear. So we started to run, and everyone's run one way, and I've run the other way, and who's he come after? He's come after me, ain't he? I was thinking, I can't believe this. I've only been here 2 days, and I've got a geezer legging after me with a shooter. Well, I've moved away to get away from all this. Next thing you know, I've heard bang, bang. He's firing at me. So I'm like, can you imagine me running across the field? I'm diving, gambolling, trying to get away from this geezer. And he's legging and he wouldn't stop, but he kept on firing. I hid behind this big oak tree, and I was out of breath, and I was thinking, he's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. And he obviously was firing blanks, but I didn't know that. He was the top. He was the top prankster going. He's had players in the showers with the guns to their head, crying their eyes out. He's been really bad, this geezer.
That's not very nice, is it?
It's not very nice.
It's not a good prank.
Well, especially my mentality as well. So like, I'm riding behind this big tree, and he said to me, I've seen these two right next to a golf course, and this guy's was putting, right? So I've just run on the golf course, grabbed his putter off him. I said, sorry. I said, but I need this. I said, I need to defend myself. I said, someone's trying to kill me. So I've got behind this tree, and this big terrier's come up and said, he didn't say then, it was a joke. He said, put the club down, otherwise I'm going to shoot you. And I thought, what do I do? How many shots has he had? I'm thinking, he's had too many shots. He can't have any shots left. I think I'm going to take a chance here. I said, is that right, mate? So look, I've jumped from behind the tree with me putter, and I've just run at him, and I've hit him with the putter, and he's happened to put his arm up, right? Oh, I'm so glad he put his arm up, because I'd have been on a murder charge. But I thought I'm fighting for my life, and I'm not.
I've done the same, man.
I've hit him anyway, and I've got the golf club snapped. I've hit him, and all you've seen was blood go everywhere, and his arms are bones sticking out, and I was awful of his hands. And the next thing you know, all the players are coming over shouting, no, like that. You know, Big Kev Francis was there at the time. He was playing for Oxford. And the next thing I'm lifted off the floor. This big guy's lifted me off the floor, and it was his son that's got me off the floor by the throat. He's massive. He's going to kill me. He said, you've hit my dad. But I didn't have a clue what was going on. I just thought this guy was trying to kill me, and I'm defending myself.
I would have done the same.
So we all got, you know, he went off to hospital, and he was a window cleaner by trade, and he couldn't work for him. Tried to sue me then, the guy did. Tried to sue me, and I said, you're having a laugh. So I'm paying anything. I said, whenever you see the club, I said, it shouldn't have happened. I've only been there 2 days. And I'd mad at Big Kev Francis. I said, how can you do that to me? I said, you know what I'm like? Mentally. I said, don't do that to me. But it made all the papers down there. It was like the press took on it. It was the, double page pull out of it, and it was being a club, your new club for 2 days. It wasn't what you really wanted. Do you know what I mean? It was
good for the profile, was it? But having said that, some guy's chasing you with a gun,
and he was firing blanks. And I don't
say you didn't know that.
I didn't know that, and I can honestly say I've never been so scared in my entire life.
You're not going to stand still and say, "Let's see if one of these is real."
I was. It was like I don't know, like a John Cleese moment. I was darting in and out, and I was diving. It must have been funny, like Benny Hill. It must have been funny to watch, but at the time, I've never been so scared in my entire life. It was absolutely frightening. But
cracking
things
story.
that I've done to players as well. I've done some naughty things, like, you know what I mean. But no, I can't, because the.
If you can't, you can't. Yeah, nobody's listening.
I'll tell you one that I did. I was at an awards do in the Birmingham City Centre with 2 other players, and we were voted for some Midland awards, and I got thrown out as usual for doing something. I can't remember what it was. So I got thrown out of this award ceremony. Right, I don't know if I can't remember. I had a scuffle with someone, and left the other 2 players there. And I said, I've got to go home. He said, you've got to go home. So I went home, and then I got a phone call off the other 2 players in the night to say that they were with two girls in a hotel room. I went, right, okay, like that. I won't mention no names because
no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're in this hotel room, these 2 girls. Anyway, one of the guys' wife found out the hotel room, knocked on the door, and they opened the door, and obviously the 2 players are standing there, and there's 2 girls in the room, all everyone naked. Obviously, he's copped a dig off his missus, and his whole lot's gone. So what I did, I thought, I'll have a crack with those 2 for ditching me. So obviously the whole lot's gone in it. The one player's had to get out of his house for about 2 months. He had to leave. So I thought, I got my sister to pretend she was one of the girls and contact one of the players, say she was from the News of the World and wanted 20 grand, or she's spilling the beans. And he was crying. We had him crying down the phone, and he was literally crying, you can't do that. You can't no, I'm a married man. Please don't do this to me. Please don't do this. And I suppose it was a nasty thing to do, but I found it quite funny at the time. And he was crying. You can't do this. She'll take me for everything. And my sister was brilliant. Had it fair play to her. She was going, well, you should have thought about that. But I want 20 grand. And he was going, can't you go down to 10? And I was going, 15. I was going, say 15. Oh, she was going, I'll meet you halfway, 15. He went, oh, you're going to have to give me some time to get it together. And I left it. I said, we'll be in touch. Put the phone down. And I left it a few days and phoned it back again. You didn't mean it, did you? Yeah, I meant it. 15 grand, what 15 grand? Off you. I left it another week and had him going. And he confided in me. I'm in trouble. And I was going, oh. So that's terrible. Why can someone do that?
How did you not laugh?
What? Because I'm evil. Because when I got thrown out this award ceremony, they should have come with me, come out on the set and have a beer with me. They should have left me. And I was fuming. But I had him going. When I told him, oh dear, he was going to kill me. He pinned me up. Oh, it was hilarious. But I was laughing so much. But that was a good one. That was a good one because it went on for so long. But he was actually crying. The player was crying his eyes out. Which you would do if you had the News of the World on your case.
Yeah, you would.
We're gonna someone blackmailing you.
Well, you're not that evil because you've got a charity ball coming up.
I have.
Tell us all about it.
Well, I'm actually. I shouldn't have said all that. I'm actually an ambassador for Autism Birmingham. Right, I've got a child with Asperger's, you see, and there's a charity called Autism Birmingham, and it's run by two people called Lisa and Pete Mace, big Birmingham City supporters, and we've got a charity putting together on Sunday, April the 27th at St Andrews in the Legends Lounge. And we've got Tom Ross comparing it, Ian Danta from Talk Sport coming.
He's been in the studio.
We've got Chris Scudder from Sky coming. We've got a guy from the X Factor called Scott James who's got Asperger's, who got down to boot camp singing for us on the night.
Right.
We've got a 4-piece jazz group play music for us all night as well. It's going to be a fantastic night, and if anyone wants to come, there's plenty of tables available. It's going to be a fantastic event. I've got the phone number here and I've got a website. You can go on as well.
How much are tickets?
I think it's a 3-course meal. You get, I think they're going for £50 a ticket, something like that. But Lisa's got more info. Can I give her number?
Absolutely.
Her name's Lisa. Everyone, I'd love to see you there.
Stick it on the shout box.
There's going to be loads of ex-players there as well who are coming along, former players from Birmingham. Her number is 07964 144 942. That's 07964 144 942. Or you can contact her autismbirmingham@gmail.com. That's AUTISM Birmingham@gmail.com. It's going to be a fantastic event that we're putting together. It's a first year anniversary of Autism Birmingham. It's a fantastic charity which Lisa and Pete have set up, to help kids with autism.
Well, both that number and the email address have just been up on the shout box. So if anybody wants tickets,
I've got a football match I'm putting together as well. But a load of ex-Blues players playing at Alzo Town Football Club on Sunday, the 4th of May.
Who's turning up?
It's going to be. I'm hoping to get Ward there. John Michael Johnson, Devs, Jerry Gill, Nicky Clark, Dean Oltham. A lot of the ex-Blues All-Stars team are going to be playing. I'm hoping to get Dave Boost there as well. I'm hoping to get Jody Craddock from Wolves. It depends if he can play because of his testimonial game. But I'm trying to get as many players there as I can. It's at Halsall Down Football Club Sunday. It's bank holiday weekend, that is.
And this is for the same charity, is it? This
is for split charities. I think it's for Birmingham Autism Birmingham, and I think that's my charity. And the guy from Halsall, I think he's in Help for Heroes or something like that. Sunday the 4th of May. That's bank holiday weekend. That is. At Halsall Town, the Alts Football Club. That's two things there, which is a fantastic, worthwhile cause. But the one at St Andrews, I've been with the guys who have set it all up about Birmingham City supporters as well. And who's been sponsored by Easy Group as well, which are really helping the cause.
Well, Blue Harbour says he's looking forward to the Blues Collective night
on the 21st. That's is that the one with?
There's a few, isn't that?
Yeah.
It's on the 4th.
That's the one with John O'Devs and Jeff Horsfield, isn't it? That's the one with John O'Devs and Jeff Horsfield. Yeah. And we've got a 90s reunion as well at the club on Friday the 21st of March.
I don't think it'll be 90s music.
No, it's just all the players from the early 90s, like me, Daishy, Wardy, I think Dev's going to be there, so if anyone wants to come down and have a drink after, come out with us. We'll get you banned from Birmingham.
Lovely. Way to go. All right, what's your take on Lee Clark?
I like him.
Yep.
I like Lee Clark. Yeah, I think he's an honest guy. In difficult situation. I mean, I speak to people behind the scenes and a lot of the press guys who speak to him know him better than I do, and they really like him. They say he's an honest chap, and his hands are tied at the moment. I mean, some of the players he's brought in, the fans haven't taken to him, especially like Lee Novak, who works his socks off every game, and he still gets a lot of grief.
I think he's probably buried a part of that now with
do you think?
Brace, the brace. Well, no,
I don't know.
It don't take us long, I don't
know. On some of the forums, the fans straight away are still on his back straight away. I think once fans don't like you, they don't like you regardless. He could score 5 goals, and I still think he'd have fans on his back, if I'm honest with you. And that's football. You take the rough with the smooth. You're going to get fans who don't like you, you're going to get fans who love you. And you've just got to take it.
Are you glad you did it in an age not of social networking?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know there's an actual site dedicated to hating me. My son found it.
Is there? I'm going to have to find that.
Something, yeah. Something Blues Villa Banter. He said there's about 40 pages of hatred over what they're going to do to me and all this, and what they're planning on doing. But I said, well, they've had long enough. I said, they know where I live, where I am. I said, they're taking long enough, aren't they, to do these threats, really.
And whilst we've got Paul Tait in the studio, don't forget, guys, Blues Ladies will be kicking off their season Wednesday, May the 14th, home to Everton at the new ground, Solihull Moors. The new kit's been revealed, and the Champions League game versus Arsenal, which I will be going to, he will be going to now. We are all going to, because on a Monday night, so we're actually going to give up the show on a Monday night. We're going to go to the Blues Ladies Arsenal game. That is on Monday, March the 24th, kick-off 7 o'clock, £6 and £3 concessions.
So I'll coach on Mondays. I'm off tonight because there's exams in the school where I coach.
And Paul Tait's take on ladies football then?
I think they're really good. I mean, I coach boys and girls are easier to coach than boys.
Yeah.
They listen so much, honestly, and they're technically very, very good. A lot of the girls who come to me, and it'd be nice to get more girls involved. I think my problem where I've got, where I have boys and girls coming to me, the girls are a bit more intimidated, whereas if I said it was just girls, you'll probably get a lot more girls coming. But honestly, the only thing that lets them down, I think, is the goalkeeping. When I've seen women's professional matches, I think that's the one area where they've really got to work on. Technically, they're very, very good.
So we've always had cracking goalkeepers at St Andrews.
Yeah.
All through the years.
Yeah, we have.
Ever since I can remember, and we were talking about this quite a while ago, Chris, the goalkeeping standard at St Andrews has been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
Roger Hansbury, remember him?
Yeah, going back to Jim Montgomery.
Andy Gosney, no knees. Remember we signed him, he said, I can't play long. He said, I've got no knees. I went, where did you get past medical? He said, I didn't have one. Remember he went for the ball one game, he said his knee just gave way and the ball just trickled into the net. I went, oh dear. He was correct, he has got no knees.
No knees Gosney.
No knees Gosney.
There is, of course, Gary Sprague, there's always the exception.
That's before my time. Showing your age now.
No, I am. So.
Yeah, we had fantastic goalkeepers down the years. We had a lot of characters. So with our club, we've always had characters.
How old are you now, Paul?
I'm 42.
42. Right, so I've got 10 years on you. So
yeah,
don't look it, is it?
No.
All right, tell us about the infamous T-shirt at Wembley, because that's one question I'm dying to
T-shirt.
I've got a few questions.
Couple of nights before I played in a game at St Andrews in a reserve game. Is it against now? Can't remember who it was. I scored. Ricciardo scored, and straight down to St Albans to the hotel we went straight after the game. Stayed there for a couple of days, and I just had this dream that I was going to score. Don't know what it was. I was sharing a room with Steve Robinson, and I got up on the morning of the game. I was thinking, I'm going to score today. I've got this feeling. I know I wasn't going to be playing, so I was being ill for 2 weeks with the virus, and I thought. Baz told me you're going to be on the bench. I thought, let's bang on, as long as I'm involved. And, in those days, it's not like that when players wear all these mad lycra tops and everything's out for them, and, we just had your kit there, and then it was in a box with all T-shirts, if you want to put a T-shirt on. And there's one T-shirt left in the box, and no one ever seen it before. It was really small, and it wouldn't fit anyone else bar me. So I've looked at it, I thought, what's it saying here? I thought, bloody hell, it's bang on there. And I thought, I'll wear that, like, you know what I mean? But it was really, like,
so
small.
From the photographs, and I was looking at the photographs the other night, it looks to me like it was your T-shirt, you know what I mean? You'd bought it especially for the occasion, really?
No one in that dressing room, no one knows where it come from. No one admitted, say like, I brought that. No one. It was worn as well. It wasn't a brand new one. It was battered.
Got sweat on it.
It was just an old top. So like, obviously, when the premonition I had that I was going to score, and when it did come to fruition, you don't really think what you're doing. If I'm honest with you, what general consensus with my brain works. If you've been listening to me, I don't really think about what I'm doing until I've done something disastrous and think, oh dear. So I went to score, run behind the thing, rip off the top, celebrate with the supporters, going absolutely crackers. I can't believe it. It's just unbelievable feeling. And it's not until you turn around and you see all these guys in luminous orange tops go photographing you think, oh dear. And then you realise, and so after about 10 seconds you think, oh no. Then Baz jumps on me and goes, what have you done? Not what have you done now? I can't believe you. What have you done? Cover it up like that. And he was going, oh no, what have I done? So it was
so mad. You knew at that time he was going to be in trouble.
I was in trouble. As soon as I come out of the dressing room, there's a guy called David Moore from the Daily Mirror. He wouldn't leave me alone. He was verbally me and having a go, and what made you wear that? He was just being nasty, and I had to tell him to do one. I was going to whack him, and he was doing me nothing. So we went back to the hotel after in Waltham Abbey to celebrate. We've not massively celebrated. We were going against Brentford a few days later, and David Sullivan pulled me then with the goals. Oh no, this is it now. This is the final nail in the coffin for me. This is score the winning goal, but I think they're going to sack me because, he just said, right then, this T-shirt, where did you get it from? And I said, I don't know about. I said it was just in the field, bricking it there and all, because I don't really mind. He's been throwing condoms and everything at me in the past. So he's going.
Another story.
That's another story. Yeah. He's going mad at me. And where'd you get it from? And all of a sudden he just changed. I said, well, why do you want to know anyway? I said, because I want to get someone sell them in the club shop. So I'm going to make millions. So I'll make millions. And put his arm round me. That was it. He said, on you go. I was so bang on. So when I had a little glass of champagne then, because I thought he was going to sack me, so I've been in that much trouble, I've been that much of a nose, a bad lad. I thought, this is it, it's a nail in the coffin for me. I thought, but he was. That's all. I
never did see anything in the club shop though. Never.
Sorry.
I never did see any in the club
shop.
I
don't think you would. I don't think you'll see them in the club shop for some reason. No, but that was it, and he was really good about it. And then obviously I got banned from from the FA, put in front of a disciplinary committee or panel. Sorry, and.
What was Paul Tait like in front of that disciplinary committee?
I said for 5 hours.
Sorry, 5 hours?
They tried to ban me for 6 months to start with. When Jack Wiseman come out and said, we've got it down to 4 months. I said, you are joking. I said, it's like worse than being in court, this is. I said, just tell them to give me 3 months. I said, I want to go home. So give me felt so give them send me down. They could be done with it. I said for 5 hours, and in the end, kept on arguing, coming back out, coming back in. In the end, they got it down to no games, £500 FA fine and 2 weeks' wages from the club, but the club didn't fine me. They said, they just put their arm around me and said, it's just like winked and all that. Said, we'll keep that one. Swinging Jack Wiseman, legend, just said, we'll keep that one for us, you barmy.
Jack Wiseman, a true legend.
A legend, yeah. And I had to pay my fine to the FA. £500 quid. Yeah. But to me at the time, I wasn't on that much money. It still killed me. Even like today, but it was worth it. It was just a chapter in my life which is still going on.
Paul, have you still got the shirt?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I've still got it. Yeah, I've still got it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I've still got it all
I'm
framed.
surprised you didn't come in it then tonight.
It's framed. I've got it all framed, and all the cuttings from the time, all the bad comments.
Will you just say, will you take a photograph of it and stick it on our Twitter account?
Yeah. I'll do it.
That'd be brilliant.
Right, yeah. Do you ever get any offers for it?
I've had offers, yeah. But I mean, I would never say it because it's
not my ex-wife.
Sorry,
it's his mum.
It's something that's it's part of me, isn't it? It's me what I did.
Well, the thing is, anybody nowadays mentions those two words to me, Paul Tait. This image comes to me of this.
Well, I can go anywhere.
With a T-shirt on.
Yeah, I can go anywhere. As in on holiday, when I go on holiday, and people say, play football. I used to play football for Birmingham. What's your name? And most times they go, oh my God, are you that one? Oh, yeah. And I was waiting for the left hook or the straight right to come at my head or something from the front or something.
Cracking way to be remembered though at a Wembley Cup final.
Yeah, I mean, because at the time the players were it wasn't long after, I think it was the Eric Cantona infamous karate kick on the Crystal Palace fan, and players were we're getting brought up by the press a lot more for doing bad things. So that players will look to setting bad examples, and I think I was just adding to the problem, at the time. But it's
good fun though, wasn't
it? Some of fun. It. But it's why you've still got to watch my back, like, you know what I mean? It's a strange one. It's a strange one. I mean, I've got people I know who are loads of Villa fans and that, and they're not really. Some of them are bothered and some of them aren't, But I'm sure if a Villa fan had done it against Blues, they'd probably like the Villa fan, the Villa player who'd done it. I don't know. I'm not too sure.
SRBRadio.com.
The Tilton Talk Show, as sponsored by JS Spooner Contracts Limited, is now almost over. Paul Tait, thanks ever so much for coming in. You know what's coming out at you, Paul? We've just given you the clap.
That's another story.